So what did Nike do differently from Benetton? I would say the Nike created a story system. They did not just advertise, they were not just commenting on social cultural issues. They were creating spaces for people to exist. So three things here. For Benetton, it was about commenting on culture. It was cultural. To talk about HIV, to talk about capital punishment, to talk about racism. And then what do? How do you relay that back to the brand? So here I am, I'm in the store, I'm buying a sweater, and I'm asking myself, how do I contribute? What am I doing? So there was a foundation, and it wasn't so clear how that connected back to the brand. And this is something that we struggle with in today's environment as storytellers. As we begin to tell stories for brands in this landscape, we need to build storytelling systems. That's what Nike did. Nike didn't just talk about racism. They built storytelling system like the running clubs that they have. And they also link their story to what you do. So there is the issue of culture and there is the issue of ritual. So ritual is what sustains messaging. It's not just being in the culture. It's about the way you run. It's about the way you do your sports. It's about the way you train. All of this can be linked back to the brand. That's ritual. That's different from culture. So this is point number one. The second lesson we can learn from this campaign is how each of the campaigns take us through the spectrum of brand experience. The spectrum of brand experience I define as the feel, the think, and the do. So the feel, you feel the campaign, you can see you can feel emotion when a campaign is running. You see some of this interesting, provocating campaign and you can feel it. That's great. We want to get your attention. That's one of our goals. And yes, we got it. Awesome. So we feel it. And then the second point is that we think, oh, maybe if I change my behavior, maybe if I get vaccinated, maybe if so we think. Sometimes wearing other people's shoes, we're able to create compassion, we're able to empathize with other people. That's the second part of the spectrum. The last part, which usually, this is a place where we don't exactly succeed in most of this brand advertising campaign, is the do part. So you felt it, you thought about what they are saying. Now the question is, do you take action? For Nike, they were able to build into their storytelling system the action part. So as you buy your Nike shoes, as you buy your wares, your sport gears, it's all linked to the campaign. You were doing it. You were doing it. You are not just dreaming crazy. You are not just being different. You are not just fighting racism. You are actually playing sport. And so the do is easily linked to the brand. So don't forget, the first thing is to build a system, a storytelling system around ritual, not just culture, ritual. And the second is to think through the spectrum from the feel to the think and the do. So I would say that the Benetton campaign, as brilliant as it was, or as it might be, probably stopped at the feel or even at the think, because it made us to think. Most of these campaigns provoked us. But to do is something usually that is a skill set that we need. In this age of AI, if you are a storyteller, it's time for you to begin to learn how do we create campaigns that lead to action. It's not enough for people to see our campaign that it goes viral. I know that in Cannes, most of the things that is being rewarded is about how many people saw the campaign, how viral it was. These are important metrics. Don't get me wrong. They're important. But they are not as important as the last part, where we actually create action. Action is something that can be long-term. It's not just about the sensationalism. It's something that can be sustained by ritual. One other thing that we think differentiate Nike campaign from Benetton was that Nike campaign was created by an ecosystem of creatives. When you talk about the White and Kennedy agency, when you look at all that happened through the Nike Just Do It campaign over the years, you can see some form of creative sustainability. This is not to belittle the importance of Oliviero Toscani, the photographer who single-handedly created the United Colors of Benetton on hate campaign. No, he was brilliant. He was ahead of his time. As agency or as brands or as institutions, it's time we reimagine how we place our creative, our advertising or our marketing into just one person's, creativity. We need to move beyond that creative director, rock star syndrome to a kind of a more ecosystem. This is where agency still has relevance. I know, I know that many agencies are thinking, are they relevant in this age and time? Yes, agencies are going to be relevant. Teams, collaborations, they're going to be important as we build messaging that lasts. See, there is a lot you can do on your own as a creative or as a designer or as a storyteller. There is a lot you can create on your own. But there's so much more that can happen if you collaborate. We need to move away from Oliviera Toscani kind of era in campaign where it's all about one person. We need to move to the era of, it's like going back to the classic. When you watch the Mad Men, Mad Men, the film, it kind of elevates the creative director. We saw that, and we saw that happen to that. We need to switch our brains to how about creating teams? How about making collaboration sexy again? So I would say that perhaps, this is my opinion, that what might have been wrong with the Benetton campaign in creating a storytelling system was that it was based on one man's idea of culture, which was important. He saw it right. He did great. It was beautiful. But maybe it could have been better if there were more people involved in creating this campaign. Maybe there would have been a strategist looking into it. Maybe there would have been a business person looking into how that connect back to the business. How is that profitable for them? And that's something I recommend. I hope that I get to see you in my next class. My name is Kende Badamasi. Thank you very much.